Right, it's time to get a handle on this situation. No, but seriously, let's talk handles. Or more specifically, cheap Chinese handles on the WM180 lathe. These things are absolutely terrible. So today I want to change them out for some nice new brass handles. And to do that, we're going to have to do a bit of machining in the shop. Before we even start turning chips today, there's a few critical dimensions we're going to have to get off these original handles. So first of all, we're going to need to know the overall length of these, because we're going to want to keep it very similar. So that is 50.2 millimeters. So these things are 50.2 millimeters long. How these sort of handles basically work is this bolt's got a shoulder on it, and that shoulder protrudes just outside the handle, so when you do it up, the handle itself never actually tightens, so it's free to just spin. So we need to make sure we get that bang on. So we now know the overall length, 50.2. We need to find out what the internal bores are. So if you look closely here, this side's got a smaller bore than this side. So this side has almost been like counterbored to fit the head of the bolt in there. So let's see what that one is. Means I get to test out my new snap gauges as well. Snap! So using my snap gauges, I've got the two measurements that I need from this. So the smaller of the holes down this end is 8.3 millimeters, and the larger counterbored hole up here is 11 millimeters. And while we're there, we also need to know how deep to counterbore it. So that's a 6 millimeter counterbore roughly. So that is all the measurements we need off of this. So now we can head over to the lathe and start making some chips. So if you're thinking about making some of these handles for your lathe as well, I'll share my drawing towards the end of the video, and maybe it's just a thank you, you can hit subscribe. Right, let's head over to the lathe. So to start with, let's face off both sides of the stock so we know everything's square. So one of the many things that is nice about working on brass is just how easy it is to machine. So I might need to take a little bit off here because this was just some rough cutting that I've done with a hacksaw. Much better. Right, so we've got a nice flat surface on that side. Let's just flip it over and do the same again. So now with both sides of the stock faced up, I can make a marking on the part of 50.2 mil, which if you remember rightly, that is what we said at the beginning the overall length needed to be. So my vernier gauges are just set here to 50.2, just so we can gently mark that up on there. Lovely. So just as a bit of advice, if you're going to do this, obviously the part that we need is 50.2 mil. If you leave a little bit of extra on here, it'll make it a lot easier to hold it in the chuck, because I'm going to put a nail on this end and we're going to put a 9-degree taper on this end, so it's not going to leave any room to hold this if you do it exactly the right length. So now we know how much material we've got to work with. I can just put it in the chuck a little bit more. That's lovely. Let's make sure that's spinning square. Brilliant. So next thing we need to do now is, this is pretty much bang on the dimensions I want the handle. The dimensions of the diameter isn't critical for this. This is 25mm stock, and I don't really want to take much off of this, so I'm just going to do a couple of clean up passes just to get this nice and shiny looking. So we're just coming up to the end here now. I can see the markings from the vernier gauge, and there we go. So we've got some nice cleaned up brass there with a faced off end. So next thing to do now is centre drill it and then drill it out to our final size. So I'm using a 4mm centre drill here just to start things off. After that I'm going to come in with a 6mm, an 8mm, and then use an 8mm reamer just to ream it out. So this 6mm I need to drill in pretty much all of the twist of the drill, so up to about there, and that should get us all the way through what we need. Just put some oil on that. So with the 6mm drilled out, the 8mm goes in there really easy. And we're just going to go all the way in until I can feel it bottom out. So it feels like it's bottomed out now, so we should be all the way there. So next I need to put in my 11mm counter ball, and this needs to go in 6mm. So using a 11mm reaming tool that I've got, because brass is so soft, I'm going to plunge it in there and hopefully just square up that shoulder in there. Yep, that looks fairly square. So all being well, that bolt slots in there lovely. So I'll flip the part around now in the chuck, because the next thing we need to do is we need to cut our taper. So let me just quickly go over that with you a little bit. So I've set the compound rest to a 9 degrees, and I'm basically going to do a taper over 25mm. So the end 25mm, I want to put a knurling tool over it to give it a knurl, but this half I want to put a nice taper on it. So yeah, I've gone with a 9-degree angle, and we'll just see how that goes. So let's turn some chips. So now we've got our lovely taper down the end here. All that's left to do really is to nail this end bit here. So this is my first time really using a nailing tool, so we'll see how it goes. So we'll just spray a bit of fluid on there. And we'll start the laver. Better start it down lower than that. So just going to work this backwards and forwards. and we'll see what sort of nail we have formed. So that nail hasn't turned out too bad. I'm gonna have to do a bit of research on nailing, because I'm not at all overly clued up on it, but it doesn't look too bad. You know, it's grippy, it'll do. So all that's left really to do now is just chamfer this edge and then part it off. So I'm going to part it off just using a hacksaw, just so I can't really afford to lose much material here. And I'm going to come back over on the bench when it's all done. So there we have it then. The brass handle is all done, and that's turned out really, really nice. So I'm really happy with that. Going to be a much better handle than these rubbish old things. So as promised, I'll put up a drawing what I made to make these handles. Hopefully that can help you out. If it does help you out, then please by all means subscribe and drop a comment below just saying what you found useful about this video. But for now, that's all from the lathe. Stay tuned, because in my next video a lot more parts should turn up for the mobility scooter, so I'll be able to get back on with that. And for now, head back to your workshops and make something awesome, guys. See you in the next one.